The disco essentially undergoes the same motion that the screaming eagle does. This thing rotates, right, around and then of course this whole thing goes up and down, back and forth, right? Okay, so it's a pendulum ride. One of the things you can do is you can figure out the height. We've got the length measure here, right? You can figure out that height, that change in height there, and then you can say, well, mgh is 1/2 mv squared. And then of course we don't even need to know the mass of the whole thing, right? We can figure out the velocity, right? And then you can say, well, the centripetal acceleration at the bottom here, right, is v squared over r, right? Okay, and then that's going to be something like some acceleration, and then you can go, what you should read at the bottom there is 9.8 plus whatever you got, right? Okay, and so if you did a vertical acceleration there, that's about what it should average. Now, of course, this thing's just chaotic because it's spinning like that, right? That's the fun of it, right? Okay, so I don't know. We'll look at some of the data. So that's one thing you can do, is a standard sort of pendulum thing like that. You could also look at this thing and do we know the radius of this, right? So you could also do the g-force to the outside. So if you measure the g-force to the outside, you could do acceleration is 4 pi squared r. We know that radius. It's on the website, right, over t squared. So you'd have to measure the period of that little wheel as it rotates around its axis like this, right, around this vertical axis. And then you could see, okay, I measured it with my accelerometer, I calculated it, and I also looked at the LabQuest data, right? So let's see what they have for vertical data. Maybe they have some axial data, right? Axial would be the direction of this acceleration of this guy around itself, right? So let's go back and see. Hello. Okay, so let's go in here, and we want to look at the disco. And there is axial from this year, and then disco. Do we have vertical? Nobody did vertical ever. That's interesting. We should request that sometime. Well, let's look at the axial. Okay. I'm doing a control click. Save link as. And of course, this is going to be just terribly. Don't save. This is going to be terribly chaotic. So let's click on the graph options. Graph options. Let's turn all these guys off. Ta-da. Wow. Okay, so I have no idea what to make of that. This looks to be, though, your acceleration there, so you could just grab a chunk of this, right? You could grab a chunk of that. That looks like it is, right? And then just go analyze statistics, and we got to get like the average, right? So the mean is about 2.4 meters per second squared, right? So that's one thing you can do is go in here, right, and look. We're just looking at the rotation around this axis, right? Okay, and then just see if that centripetal acceleration is 4 pi squared r over t squared, right? See what you measured, right? Compare what you measured to this, to 3, what we got, what we just looked at on Logger Pro, right? LabQuest. And now I'm going to draw a wiener dog.